Hello and welcome to our series of introductions to Kwame's Advisory Board members. Today I'm delighted to welcome Henry Stienen, CEO of JL Mag Rare Earth Company. Welcome, Henry.
Hello, good morning, Victoria.
Hi. Henry, could we start off, could you give us a summary of your work experience and history in the industry?
Okay, I'd be glad to do that. As you already said, my name is Henry Stienen. Currently, I'm the CEO of JL Mag Europe, but next year, 2022, I will be in the industry for 40 years. So I stayed my entire career in the magnet industry. As I always say it, magnets are contagious. So once you are infected with it, it will stick. So I started off with a trading company in the Netherlands called Bakker Magnetics and stayed there for quite a while, actually for 18 years. In that time, it was possible for me to set up also the, let's say, trading relations with the Far East, like Japan and China, Taiwan. So it was quite exciting to do so. And then, knowing that a typical trading company in, let's say, the forces of the market would not be able to really survive on its own, then I decided to go in a different direction. Finally ending up joining the JL Mag team, where I'm still currently today and heading a team of highly specialized experts in the market who help our customers take the right decisions for their applications.
And having been in the industry for 40 years, what has been your favourite project that you've worked on throughout that time?
How much time do you have, Victoria? There are so many projects, and I think the beauty of our work, the way we are doing it, is that today we are talking with customers who are realizing projects which come to market maybe in 2 or 3 years' time. So you are having a glimpse of the future. So if you ask a favorite project, I cannot name one. There are all so many different ones, and they're coming from different directions. I think, magnets are used everywhere. So from a function in a small cell phone to a big generator or a motor, whatever. So I can't name one specific project. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. And you say about working with customers and clients that are working on projects 2 or 3 years ahead of release. So you've probably got a really good insight into what what the biggest transformation's likely to be in the industry over the next 10 years, or the biggest disruptor. What are your thoughts on that?
Let's say if the question is heading to the point, where is the industry going, or what application? I don't know what area, if it is the point of what is the biggest problem you're asking, or where is the market going? Can you be more specific?
Both really. I mean, it's more, I guess. Sorry?
Actually, it's 2 questions.
Yeah, yes, it is. It's 2 questions.
Yeah. No, actually, if we see the market trends, and like I said, we are working on many different projects. I can't be specific. I hope you can understand. But let's say our main sectors where we today are active are in the automotive industry, or I'd like to call it e-mobility industry. So I think cars alone is not giving the right coverage. It's also an e-bike, or it is a truck, or it is a train, it's a ship, or it's an airplane. All of those transportation means will get electrified. So that is where a very large chunk of the magnets we are producing will go in the future. This is not the biggest one today. Actually, the biggest one today where we are engaged is, let's say, generating electricity with the help of permanent magnets. And I'm pointing at the wind power industry, where today we are supplying maybe 50% of the global demand of wind power generators. But this will change because the e-mobility sector will grow very fast, and it will let's say, become the dominant sector going forward. 2025, we see already that e-mobility will be the biggest chunk of our applications.
And with all of that in mind, what, there's obviously lots of opportunities out there. What about the biggest challenges that face the industry at the moment?
There are many. I think we're all aware of the geopolitical situation, dependency of rare earth elements coming from China, magnet production coming from China, let's say for almost 90% of what is globally used in the permanent magnet industry. So that is one challenge. How can we create more balance? How can we establish also an outside China supply chain for raw materials, but also for separation, for metallization, but also magnet making. So that's one direction. The other one is getting enough capacity in place, because the market will grow substantially towards 2030, driven by the e-mobility applications, like I just shared with you. And although it seems that there is a lot of capacity available globally, the question is it the right capacity? Because at the end of the day, technology will make the difference. And you have to have the right technology to be able to produce and supply the magnet demand, which is required for certain applications. So there are a few, but there are several more, I believe. But yeah, maybe too detailed to discuss today.
And how do you think the COVID pandemic, has affected that or changed the direction of the industry, if at all?
Let's say the situation changed drastically from the first quarter of last year. So certainly traveling was not possible anymore. So face-to-face meetings with customers was stopped immediately. Actually, it's still the case that in the majority of the companies, you are still not invited to have a live meeting. Like us today, we do it online, and mm-hmm. This is not the same. I think that being in a meeting room, meeting with 5, 6, maybe 10 people, you get the energy of the room. And when you are online, you hope that everybody is paying attention, but you're not sure. Yeah? So you cannot react to, let's say, small things which are happening in the rooms because you simply don't see it. Yeah, and I think that going back to a new normal, traveling will come back, but not to the extent where it was in 2019, I believe. So we will have a kind of hybrid form of working where we will spend a couple of days in the office, but also days working from home offices. And I think the frequency of meeting with customers will be reduced. So yes, definitely it will be a different world when we go back to the new normal.
And taking that into consideration, it means that events like QIAME are even more important for getting people together within the industry for that face-to-face time where you're you perhaps don't have the reasons to be able to do it so much. What is your history with QIAME, and how many years have you attended in the past, and why do you attend? What do you get out of it? What do you think what are the benefits of attending?
Let's say that my history with the coil winding actually goes back many, many years. I think it was I can't remember the exact year, but actually I think it was the second or third year it was organized in Berlin. We were already there. At that time, like I shared with you, I was with Bakker Magnetics. And I think at that time there were 3 magnet companies present in the show. And the show was small, it was only 2 halls. And look where it is now. So that already says that it has conquered a certain place in the industry, and making that step to what I think will happen in the future is that there will be less exhibitions where people go, but I'm convinced that coil winding will have a special place there, because over the years it has transformed into an exhibition where you meet new customers, to a meeting place where your customers, together with their technical teams, will visit, and you can have a very high quality, very efficient discussion at your booth. So it will increase efficiency if we in the future can organize those meetings at the show, and then it will save quite a bit of time going to individual customers on a basis.
And as I said at the beginning, when I introduced you, you've kindly agreed to become one of the members of our new advisory board for QIME. How do you feel the creation of the advisory board will contribute to the success of QIME going forward?
Well, I believe that if it is possible to have different members in the advisory board coming from different angles, then I think we can discuss within the advisory board what could be an interesting addition to the co-winding expo. So especially the conferences, I think that more and more presenting at the conference, sharing where your company is at today, where it is going, what the direction of technology is. I think that becomes a more important function in getting together at shows like in Berlin.
Yeah, absolutely. And for the show in Berlin in May 2022, what do you think are the really hot topics that we should look to cover in the technical agenda, the content agenda at the event?
Now, I believe that there should be a close look at what is the development direction, the R&D roadmap for the different components in the field of magnetics. I know that there has been quite a bit of development in the direction of creating very, very high grades with reducing the heavy rare earth content in the recipes, so that you stay away from those materials who are very, very critical, and also at the same time lowering the, let's say, the costing of the magnet function in different applications. But that's for the magnet part. And I think that looking at all the other components, but also at processes, I think it is important to showcase what companies have been able to achieve and where are they going over the next 3 to 5 years. Because like I shared earlier, today we are working on platforms in e-mobility which come to market maybe in 2024 or 2025. So shall we put today's magnet in those applications, or shall we put tomorrow's magnet in those applications? So I think that's a very important role for the exhibition.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And finally, I mean, we've talked a lot about the industry. Tell us a little bit about you outside of work and what you do in your spare time. How do you relax when you have time?
Well, I think that that question is, of course, first of all, family. I'm a family guy. That means that I've 3 kids, 2 sons and a daughter, and we spend quite a bit of time together. I'm very, very fortunate also to have to be a grandfather since 2 years. So everything what is said about that subject is true. So when you see your grandson or granddaughter walking up towards you and saying "Opa," we say in the Netherlands. So then you melt. So this is quite a chunk of my time. And let's say traveling. If you say, okay, what do you do? What makes you relax? We try to spend quite a bit of time with the family, traveling to all the places where I've been. I've been very, very fortunate to be allowed to travel the world quite intensively. And what I try to do is also show that to my kids, and now also take my grandkids along with it, and we spend that quality time with the family. And last but not least, I try to play a little bit of golf, and then also one of my favorite sports to do. And you know, when you play a round of golf, half a day is suddenly gone when you play 18 holes. So it's yeah, that's a little bit what I'm doing outside work.
Sounds like it keeps you busy anyway, with the grandchildren and the golf and the traveling.
It's let's say I could have more time, yes, but
Yeah.
we have to manage what we can do.
Absolutely. Absolutely, absolutely. Well, look, Henry, it's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you, and I'm really looking forward to working with you over the coming weeks and months as we build out Quimey for next year, and obviously going forward into later years. And thank you very much for your time today.
You're welcome. My pleasure.